Counter Strike.
I kicked everybody off the team too.
I got my Steam account banned.
I got my Steam account banned. Okay, Chase.
Yeah, bitch. What? There he is. He finally made it to practice.
Yeah, he came
Classic.
through.
He's
I'm
7 minutes
here.
late. I think that's technically a write-up. I'm gonna check the manual.
Can you spectate me, Reed?
Yeah.
All right. This is gonna be brief because I've been doing chemistry most of the day, but I figured I'd write some stuff down.
I get
So
crushed.
we got
I get
5 different
crushed.
positions, right? We'll start out with outside. And the oh my god, he left.
My
Great.
game crashed. My game crashed. Bro.
Oh no.
I'm watching the Discord. I'm watching your stream on Discord. Just go on.
I knew he didn't want to be in here.
Bro, my game crashed.
God, Daddy,
that-
dude. Just sign
Hurry,
yourself
hey,
out.
Bro, he's playing RuneScape or something.
Just clock the fuck out, dude.
I'm loading.
All right.
it.
Regardless, I think
Yeah.
our CT side will be a lot better once we understand the 5 different key positions and what their responsibilities are. So first we have Josh's, and what I have written down as his primary position or primary responsibility is that he prevents players from getting to secret and denies like outside. But his big thing is preventing people from getting down there, because once people get down there, then everyone starts freaking out. Mini, you're just basically you know this, but just to restate so that everyone knows this, you're essentially just supporting outside and inner. You're a support for both. Once like Josh falls off out here, you either come into A or you fucking like go back here, which is pretty strong. But that just depends on where Josh is rotating. And you're pretty important versus the A rush, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a sec. Davis, me and you are either going to be, we'll interchange, or either going to be Daddy A site, which is probably the most brain dead position on this map, or the inner heaven rotator, which is another support position like Mini. So the first person up ladder is going to be, oh great,
I was
be-
watching you throw the nether map.
yeah, the first person up ladder is going to be the Daddy A guy. He's going to drop every time unless we say not. I would do some shit like that. If you throw that nade right, it'll come and bounce like right here. That molly, if it lands in the door, it spreads a lot better. But regardless, you're what do I have written down? Getting into sight ASAP is your primary responsibility. Usually top hut to put as much resistance for an A rush, and then holding sight obviously. Inner heaven guy, he'll me or you. It's support for Daddy A. He can come out here and support outside, or he can fall and support ramp. If they end up rushing A though, we'll drop to sight, and then we'll worry about shit later. And then ramp, I have written in all caps, this is an info position. You don't really have support, you know, you're kind of alone, and so holding this position and staying alive for info is, or staying alive for info is pretty important. You want to deny lower access, use utility to give ramper and follow. So how I like to play it is kind of bad. I don't like to use utility. You guys know me. I just come here and I like start peeking right here. When I see them, I just drop off and I usually fall down. If I see a lot of them, I like throw the smolly, and then sometimes I'll get kind of crazy. If they start pushing it, I'll just do this. And I'll come play around this smoke and see if they push this smoke. That's how I play it, but I try and stay alive. Shaw, I don't know how you're going to play it. Yeah, anyway, those are those 5 positions. And really all I got written down is how we should rotate on early stuff. So outside smokes, a lot of teams are going to do that. Once they have outside smokes, I have written down that, I mean, once Josh can't see this, like once they throw those outside smokes, you can throw this molly back here to slow them down. And if you're throwing a molly, don't throw it over here. Make sure you throw it behind red, because people will just run in the smoke around the molly, if that makes sense. if they're smart players. Regardless, if they throw those smokes, Josh is kind of rendered useless. So either he's gonna like rotate back and hold mini from like back here, or he's just gonna rotate somewhere else entirely. So Josh and Arit have to talk, and Josh is gonna be like, "I'm going to ramp," and so Arit is now in charge of outside. I think a strong thing to do is to get into big garage and hold this passive angle because you're like in charge of mini now.
Okay.
1, 3. If they're going outside, one of the 3 A players can drop lower, or the ramp player can. We just have to calm that, but one should drop immediately. If Shaw's like, I'm going, then and Josh is a good rotate. The Heaven guy's a good rotate for ramp, but someone's got to pick up his ramp. All right, maybe I should just post what I wrote down because I should have rehearsed this.
Let's talk A real quick for us three. So
Yeah, so
first person up the ladder is throwing the molly, but my main thing is he's dropping sight. Let's say they're rushing. What do you want the Heaven person doing and a Reet doing?
well, yeah. So next, I got the A rush, Daddy A. I mean, you already know whoever's up first is slinging that bitch and jumping on the hut, right? If it looks like an A rush and I'm right here, I'm just gonna drop sight. I'm not gonna stay in Heaven. I'm gonna drop sight and maybe hold for them to swing this way. And a Reet, I think a good place for you to get is gonna be right here as you wait for them to swing in the sight. Maybe even right here. I think in this corner is good. But if you're a lot of the time you're gonna get smoked off.
Yep.
So I think you have to fucking, I don't know.
I would add a couple things. If one thing you can do that I've seen some pro players do is toss the smoke in front of their smoke to try to play off it, because you can sometimes get out to Asia if you're reacting fast enough and kind of creep out and do like some
Okay.
weird angle shit. Just something I would toss out there. And then the guy who's falling sight, I think that it's really smart for you to stare at the fucking default site, like initially, because if somebody's running out of the hut, you can like position yourself where you're just like the crack of your screen's ready for the flick, but they're gonna try to flash you generally. So I'm just saying, it's generally not a bad idea to play like an anti-flash and just react off sound, in my opinion, if you're tucking yourself in the site. Something to think about.
Yeah. I mean,
I
basically.
don't think we play enough anti-flash. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think on a rush it's gonna be kind of hard to do that because they could just be running out if it's all chaotic. But like late round, I can definitely see that. Maybe doors not broken open, and Davis can be, or one of us could be right here holding this if door's not broken, and the other guy can be backside. You know, yeah, playing.
You're staying tucked backside. You really won't have to play anti-flash because most people don't flash like on that side of the side.
Yeah.
So yeah. But what I'm saying is like, just think about that. I feel like oftentimes we're getting like stuck out in these wide positions thinking people aren't going to pop flash, but we're at a point where everyone's going to probably pop flash. Or something, something to keep
Also,
in
if
mind.
you're the first out Heaven as you're jumping from Heaven to Silo to top hut, you can be looking at the floor and just be dodging those flashes as they
Right.
come in. That's what I
I think it's better to do this. If you're really worried about the rush, I haven't hit that fucking nade once, but if you throw that nade, you see it pops right here. It's gonna slow them down a
It's
lot
super
in the
strong, man.
molly.
Yeah. That's a really good
So-
combo. I totally agree with that. And generally, you don't get flashed that early. I guess it could happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, those split seconds after I think are really crucial. Just be really wary of. Like if they run out no flash, like we'll quickly learn that's the way their team plays. You know what I mean? Like that's one of those weird nuances. You're just like, what the fuck? But I don't know.
We'll change it up sometimes. We'll have a, depending on how the team plays, like late in the half. Maybe we'll have 3 people come through ladder, because if they don't go outside a lot, we just won't have a Reet go mini. Because mini, like him going there is well, just to change stuff up. And so 2 of us can drop sight and he can like play Heaven or something. I don't know. We'll try some shit out. But that's that. On the A rushes, if they're committing to the A rush, Josh and Shaw pretty much have free reign to approach it however they think. Like if Shaw wants to push ramp, I think that's fine. I think you need to hear us calling numbers in sight, like at least 3 people. If we just say like rush A nades, I wouldn't push off that. But once we're like fighting and getting kills, then I think you can push. It's a little bit safer. Same with Josh. I don't know if you like want to come in mini and like get smoked off a bunch, or come to heaven and get smoked off a bunch, but it's up to you. Um,
Yeah. It's
I
kind
don't,
of
I
a
don't.
hard call. Don't be afraid also to run maybe to heaven. If you get smoked off in mini and there's nothing you can do, don't be afraid to start just making that run to heaven. 'Cause sometimes I feel like we could both go there, and once the smoke's clear, we could just pour out of heaven. It might be a better way to go about it.
Know if you can
Something we
like
could try.
throw support flashes while you're rotating. I don't know if these are good
That
or
little
not,
one-way
but
smoke we all know.
yeah.
Like, there's a lot of more ways to get out of heaven. I feel like, I don't know. And if we had a couple people there every time, it might help. Because we could trade the first guy out. The first guy out almost always dies, but you know that second trade's really crucial.
Then if there, maybe a good way to play Ramshaw is like, I never threw this flash. I would just always come dry peek it, and whenever they got the spawn for it and they opted, they always killed me. So I should have probably been flashing more just to peek this angle to get info. But then I would play for info. But if they're rushing ramp, you just need to identify that super fast and just like get down ramp and just calm to everybody else. And then the way that we'll react is I'll either come down hell or Josh will come hell, you know, from outside. So if you can like calm numbers, if you see 3 or 4 people ramp for sure, like a Reek could even push outside, you know. Like if we're calming numbers, we like if Josh says he sees 3 people, 4 people outside, maybe us 3 inside, we want to just push lobby and take it, you know.
Yep.
I don't know. So
I think that's where we struggle too, is like that mid-round calm. It's like we just need to be on the same page and do something.
that's why like saying they're outside or outside, it's not saying that's what you guys do, but in general
Well, a lot of times
we
on
say
smokes, I can't
B.
give a lot of
Yeah,
more
yeah,
info
yeah,
than
yeah.
that, but I do get what you're saying. Absolutely, we want to be more specific. That's a
If
bad.
if Shaw just like, oh, ramp, like I don't know what that means, you know? Like, did he see 1 ramp?
Right.
Did he see 2? If he says at least blah 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 ramp, you know, then I might feel more prone to say, hey David, let's push hut together, or
Yeah.
whatever. A read take outside, you can probably get away with that, something like that. So, I didn't write down any T side stuff. I just really wanted to. Our late round, I wish I'd have wrote stuff down for late round, but we'll work on that. But hopefully we can adjust to early round stuff pretty easily. If we're knowing what everyone else is doing. I don't know. I don't know if this was useful or not, but
Yeah, it was solid.
We
let's
need
see.
more general like server work, so we should probably just do more shit in general like this. Get on the same page. Kind of just hop into scrims a lot of times.
I'm gonna see if there's any noob scrims available, and then we can just turn this one into a server as well.
Yeah.
I think our biggest struggle with Nuke on T side personally is the little late round, mid round calls where we're just not on the same page, and then trading. Like if we can, wherever we're going, try to have a buddy. Try to like communicate about what you're about to do, and make sure that guy's right on your butt cheeks. So like, because you can literally win Nuke just by trading out the whole way. You know what I mean? Like you get in the post, you get into like the 2v2, and you kind of know vaguely where the CTs are. You're gonna win it every time. Like you know, you got the AK, you've got the like control of one side or the other. It's over. You know, in my opinion. So that's like a huge factor. Is I think if we're and that goes along with being clear in the mid round, right? Is like if we're clear in the mid round, we're gonna be trading better. But just buddy up, stay on each other's butt cheeks, go for peaks together.
There's an open team waiting if you guys want to play them, but if you guys want to wait for an IM team,
We got one. We got one. If I ever have I should have went over this real briefly. if I ever have the vent drop spawn, I kind of want to set up a play just around it. Like,
Yeah.
I want to drop vent, and then I want someone to break glass. I don't know if like someone breaking glass at the same time I break glass lower is a good way to mask it, or if I should
It
just
is,
run
it
straight to
is.
single door.
Yeah, you
Right.
can.
If we're not doing like a set thing, dude, I honestly think like every round that we get opportunity, we should either be setting you up to get into lower from secret, or get and doing exactly that event drop. Because like I was thinking about that the other day. Those were like most of the rounds we win, where you try to do some shit like that.
We should drill out a good A rush. And that's something else we could go over with server work. I've kind of learned over the years, like, you don't want to do all your server work in one go either, because it won't stick. You kind of want to go over a few things at a time and then implement
Right.
those. But like if we choose to do an